All right, hey everyone, what is this? It is time for an art topic, Art Rambles video. I know it's been a while, I'm so excited. Let's do our little shill in the beginning and then get right into the video, why don't we? So, hi, if this is your first time here, I am Michi, or TwistedDisaster, or Michelle, whatever you want to call me, I don't really care. I am a full-time freelance artist of doing many eggs in one basket, or many feathers in one hat. I do Twitch streams. I have an online shop. I have a Patreon. I have a sticker club. I do both commercial freelance and private freelance. I have been self-employed now since I would say full time since about 2014, 2015, right around that range. So I've been doing this a little while. If you guys like what you see here, if you like the rambles, the conversations, the stuff, the art, all my social medias are in my link tree link down below and all my other links. Yeah, also with my Patreon, as you can see in my little intro, I always start off with my little Patreon thank you card. On top of getting your name on the thank you card, I also have a sticker club where anyone $5 and up US get a limited edition sticker mailed to them every month. This also includes international shipping in it, so it's $5 US for all of them. All gets paid for. We're all good here. And so, yeah, there we go. Normal junk. Let's get into the topic, why don't we? So, got my paper ASMR here, and as you can see from the title, it might be a little confusing, especially because, I'm very much a person that believes, like, hey, the romanticizing of the starving, mentally ill artist isn't cute, but I think that there is a big difference in the art community because a lot of us don't like talking about this stuff. Now, my GF made a video recently about it, and that's what inspired me wanted to talk about it as well. She made a whole video talking about, how art can be very painful and things like that, and things you have to learn from and things you have to work through. And so I really wanted to sit down and get my thoughts together and do my own version of that. So thank you, Holly BB, for inspiring me for this. So I think it should also understand that I am also an artist that lives with chronic pain that is not due to my being an artist. I had a previous job that did a lot of illegal stuff that hurt my back at a very young age, and I was also quite a few years ago in a very bad car crash. I was on the side that got hit. So I actually experienced a lot of chronic pain. I haven't really talked about it much on this channel. I've talked about it in live streams and stuff like that. But I also want to talk about how a lot of times there are a lot of artists who are full-time artists because, topic for another day, but it's one of the few jobs we can have. You know what I mean? It's a job that we can have full-time hours in, it not fully destroy us and do things. But there are also a lot of ways we can still hurt ourselves more without realizing it. So the first thing I have here that's really important is improper ways of holding a pencil. Sounds nuts, sounds crazy. I'm sure most of you listening right now, you have the little artist bump on your knuckle in some way, shape, or form, where however you hold your pencil. I know I definitely do. Um, and I've had this for years. But ironically enough, my bump has been getting not as bad as it used to. It used to be very, very predominant. And I originally chalked it up to, oh, well, I was gaining weight. So, obviously my fingers are getting chunkier, so I just don't feel the bump as much anymore. That's actually not true. I found out the art bump actually comes from being improperly trained. It is coming from not learning how to hold your pencil properly. Now, I have made a few videos in the past talking about how I was very reliant on pen pressure, on how I didn't really like a lot of my traditional art compared to my digital art and stuff like that. And it's because I was a person for a very, very long time where I was a gripper. I was a gripper. I would push really hard on my pencils when I would do traditional art. It would be really hard to erase things. I was also a person where I'd push really hard when I was writing in general, which I also did a lot of at the time. And so I ended up getting that bump. And when you're gripping your pencil like a death grip, you don't think of it much, and it's something not a lot of people talk about. I mean, heck, I didn't even realize it was really a thing until my medical friend pointed it out, and I saw it on a TikTok of someone talking about it. And then I was like, huh, I never thought of that, because once I got my iPad, once I started working with my iPad Pro, because the pen pressure was so different, and it was a glass top over, like, a normal tablet or a face tablet top, I didn't want to push as hard as I normally do. Granted, I didn't realize I could mess with pressure sensitivity and Procreate. That is my bad. But I learned to work around it, so I just went with the default factory settings for pressure. But ever since I've been using a much lighter touch, especially when it comes to digital art and my own traditional art, I have not been having as much wrist pain as I used to. And I realized it's because I was really forcing my way down. Another thing, too, is the fact that I, like many self-taught artists, would draw with my wrist. I wouldn't draw with my whole hand. And you are supposed to have a very loose grip. You are supposed to draw with your whole arm. When you're making a circle, you got to do a whole rotation. That's why you usually have to have like room when you don't have a workspace. At least you can like move your arm around. And I'm still not perfect at it. There was a lot of times I still do basic wrist movements because hey, I've been drawing since like high school, consistently. So obviously old habits die hard, but that's what ends up causing tendonitis, carpal tunnel, and things like that. So some ways I use to take care of that is I, like many people, I have an arm brace. Another one is I buy specific medication for joints. So my Tylenol in my house is arthritis Tylenol. I don't have diagnosed arthritis, but it does help with the swelling a bit. So I think that's a good thing. Obviously, it is not changing going to a doctor and getting a diagnosis, but I'm telling you, that arthritis meds, ooh, really did kick in for a different way. Um, and so then the next thing I have, when I used to use my pen pressure in my previous stuff, I would have it be set to S7 in Easy Paint Tool Sai, and because of that, I would be a pusher. I would push really hard on my tablet screens and things like that. And for people who have a light touch, I know you must be cringing right now. It's really, really common. I'm not alone. I know I'm not. I've seen how people draw. um, so the best thing to do to change that is to change your pen pressure settings in your like digital art program to a lighter setting. It's gonna suck, especially if you're used to the harder stuff, but your arm in the long run will thank you. Now, the next thing I have written here on my paper ASMR is improper posture. Holly talked about this in her video. We all be shrimping. We all be hunching. However, for a long time, I was a lot worse than most shrimps. My friends in high school used to call me a paper eater with how, like, I would be, like, such a goblin and just, like, I'd be drawing, like, with my face, like, an inch away from the paper. And I was also a person that I never used easels. I never used stands. I never had my stuff at an angle. And oh my god, all these years later with my chronic back pain, High School Michi really did hurt me. So, things I've done to help alleviate that is my old tablet came with a stand. I currently use that for my current tablet when I'm not, like, on the go, But I will usually prop my iPad up on something so that way it's at an angle so I'm not putting too much pressure on my back. Another thing that really helps if you are a short person like me is seeing if you can have a chair that has differentiating heights. So what I will often do is when I am streaming or I'm working for long periods of time, I will actually make my chair smaller. I'll click the little button, it'll go down. I just have a very basic office chair that like goes up and down by the little tab on the side of it. And I will often go down as low as I can so it's closer to eye level so I'm not hunched over as much and my arm has more freedom and movement. When I'm more normally just working, my chair is usually all the way lifted because I have a second monitor that's pretty big. So that way, it's easier for me to, um, keep eye contact with the webcam and games and things like that. So that's something you can do. Another thing that will help that is another thing I have down here is a good thing is to set alarms because hey, lots of us out here have the tism, and this is a person with diagnosed tism, so I can say it. Um, and when that hyper focus kicks in, or the time blindness, we can be kind of screwed. However, best thing I would recommend is set an alarm. Now, doctors and everyone say do it every 20 minutes. Let's be realistic, that's not going to happen for everybody every 20 minutes. I set my alarm for about an hour, or when I'm streaming, I would do a double check. So I would say every hour you are sitting or at your desk or doing something, where you're not like standing and moving around, set an alarm every hour, do a quick little stretch, do a stand up, stretch your legs, do this, stretch your neck. Trust me, ever since I started doing that, I did it about a year ago where I would set for my 1 minute breaks. If you are a streamer, this is when I usually do my ad breaks. I usually shoot for about an hour, hour and a half, unless like we're in a big, very deep combo. Um, and it doesn't have to be a whole thing. Like, I will see some people who's like, I do like 8 yoga poses and I stretch out every bone in my body. You really don't have to do that if you feel over intimidated, or again, or if you're a disabled person or someone who lives with chronic pain. Just stand up if you can, obviously. Stretch out your legs, stretch out your neck, do your shoulders, protect your posture, and then you can go back to work. The same rule goes for looking at screens, because lots of us look at screens all day. I have astigmatism and light sensitivity. I know, I have a lot wrong with me. But see if you can get blue light glasses. You can actually get blue light filtering glasses that aren't prescription for as cheap as $20 on like Amazon or at Target or at like a local optic place. Um, Getting a prescription is best, but if you already have perfect eyesight or near perfect eyesight, just getting that blue light filtering glasses are going to help so much with eye strain. Same with getting proper eye drops. I currently have Visalign Advance on my desk. I always have eye drops with me, just in case, because again, I'm a full-time digital artist, so eye strain is real. While we would like to believe it, we were not bred as humans to stare at screens all day, so our eyes are not adept to it, so this will also help you. Another one, this one is a good one for the 2020 rule, is for every 20 minutes of work, take about 20 seconds to stare off at something 20 feet away. That will help your eye strength a lot. I didn't do it for a very long time. I already had bad eyesight, but me not doing this did, in fact, make my eyesight worse. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. And so, try to stick to the 2020 rule. Let's see, what's the next one? What do I got here? Taking proper breaks. Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go. Taking proper breaks. So, another really good thing that helped me a lot was taking proper breaks by not finishing everything I draw. Obviously, if it's client work, NDA work, things you got to get done, that's a very, very different story. But I was growing up that I was a person where I was like, no, I want to finish every single thing I doodle. No, I want to ink and color and do all of it. And that is so bad for your artistic health and your own physical health, because not all things are meant to be finished. You know what I mean? I'm not saying abandon a million projects if you want to do like a series or a project, but it's why sketchbooks are important. It's why doodles and warm-ups are important, is sometimes you just let your pen flow and not over stress on details of things, because that will also lead to the hyper focus kicking in. Again, working with your pen pressure, working with not taking proper breaks, not doing things to blah, and it's really important that we take care of ourselves as well. And I'm happy that we have such resources now, like YouTube, like TikTok. I talk about it all the time. I make jokes that I'm a boomer. I'm an older millennial. Born in 1992. I was born in the late 1900s, I'm hearing kids say now. But we didn't have the same resources people do now. We didn't have the same tips, tricks, and health things that are out there now. And so I want people to start taking care of themselves a little better. As I've said, I'm working on taking care of myself a little better and doing things. And this is something that I've learned over the years. And even though I'm not perfect, I still do shrimping. I still do things like that. So, yeah. Oh, that's a Discord call. I guess that means I should wrap it up, don't I? Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for the art rambles. I have actually quite a few more art rambles picked. So I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.